Hello, this is Danny Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. For a while, I've been wanting to do an updated version of my video on server meshing from the player's perspective. But there's been a steady stream of more newsworthy topics coming up with 315, 316, and the IAE. But it was also about one little thing with FAQ on server meshing that I felt I couldn't ignore, but I also wanted to update video to be about server meshing and not a rant about how high-tech companies mislead us. So I'm doing this as a separate video on that, so that I can clear it from the table and then be able to make a video that is just about server meshing. And it is a subject that I have trouble pointing fingers about because my own fingers are not perfectly clean in this regard. I spent several years working in the sales department of a big-ticket high-technology company and know well the pressures to always tell the customer what they want to hear, even if what they want to hear was highly inadvisable or just plain impossible, because the fear was constant in that environment that if you told the customer that their impossible desire was impossible, they would just go to another vendor who had no problem telling them that what they wanted to do was possible, even though it was no more possible for them than for you. So you told them what they wanted to hear, and what you maybe wished yourself was true, but then you couched it in enough mentions of challenges, difficulties, and issues until you felt covered against its inevitable disappointing result. You might even rationalize that trying and failing would be the only way that the customer would really accept that it was impossible all along. So enough with the background. What is this example of telling the customer what they always want to hear from CIG? It is this item from the Q&A. Is the true end goal one single shard for all players? The short, simple, honest answer to that question is that sure, it would be great, but without changing the game in ways that would no longer have it be Star Citizen, it would be impossible. Instead, they said that, quote, this is our ambition, however, giving a definite answer is not possible at this point. And then finishing with saying, it is an operational challenge to deploy the back end in a way that doesn't favor one group of players over another. I remember writing similar sentences a lot in my days of being a pre-sales technical support analyst. Now, I'm sure some of you are saying, hey, what makes you some sort of Einstein that you think you can tell CIG what is or isn't possible for them? And you're right, I'm not that much of an Einstein to do that. This guy is that Einstein, the OG. And the OG Einstein says E equals MC squared, homies. Nothing travels faster than the speed of light, you mothers, especially your punk internet packets that are nothing but information encoded as light. And here is the speed of light in meters per second, and here is the circumference of the Earth in meters, and you simply divide one by the other, and you get that someone at the opposite point on the Earth from where the one shard is located will suffer an absolute minimum of 134 milliseconds of ping penalty over somebody near it. And that is presuming that the signal can take the absolutely straightest path, which of course it can't, and that the transmission equipment along the way adds no processing delay of their own, which of course they won't. And no, they can't just spread a shard around the planet. The three key elements that make up a shard, the replication layer, the entity graph database, and the meshed game servers, interact so intensely that they must be inside the same facility, where pings are always some millisecond and bandwidths are measured in multiple gigabytes. Introduce even a few milliseconds of lag into the interaction between these three elements, and the performance of the shard will collapse completely. Now, some smart aleck is already writing in the comments about how in the laboratory they have gotten quantum particles to exchange state faster than the Einsteinian limit. Give me a call when you got that thing working at a scale and distance that it can replace the internet. Because until then, my homie Albert is the word on how fast the internet works. There simply are hard limits to the universe, and among the hardest are the speed of light and the diameter of the Earth. And no quantity of subscriber pledges can pay enough programmers to make the Earth 1 meter smaller in diameter or make light move 1 meter per second faster. 134 milliseconds is the ping penalty. And 134 milliseconds in an intense action game is quite a substantial ping penalty. Now, I know some of you will say, but I've played in other regional servers and it wasn't that bad. But that is a matter of voluntarily taking on a ping penalty out of the desire to play with certain colleagues. But that is entirely different than being told that you and every other person on your continent has to take that penalty whether they want to or not. So any attempt to designate a single global megashard will immediately result in 2/3 of the world protesting that they deserve a server that doesn't discriminate against them. And so you are right back to 3 to 5 regional shards. That will inevitably be the equilibrium point between wanting to have as few shards as possible and having people not feel discriminated against. And your worldwide org will just have to vote on which one to use on a given day or week. I know that isn't what you want to hear, but being able to be told what you don't want to hear was the whole starting point of this discussion. Now, one question that might come up is, could they redesign the game so that the 134 millisecond ping delay between competitors was acceptable? And absolutely they could. All they would have to do is eliminate or render inconsequential any activity which quick reactions was an advantage. No dogfighting, no FPS, and also maybe make mining more set and forget. Pretty much make things turn-based. But hold on, you say, that wouldn't be Star Citizen at all anymore. And that's entirely my point. Sure, you could do a Minecraft game or a strategy game on a global ping, but not an action game. Not Star Citizen. Another suggestion I've seen is to spread the various star systems around the planet. Have Stanton hosted, say, in North America, Pyro in Europe, Nyx in Australia, and so on. This, though, just changes the discrimination discussion to where gets the most desirable planets. It doesn't solve the problem, it just slices it up and spreads it around. So that is how CIG misleads us by telling us what we want to hear. And while nobody wants to be misled, we really, really like being told what we want to hear. It's called confirmation bias, and it is a remarkably strong factor in human psychology. And telling people what they want to hear, no matter what, is endemic across the entire technology sphere. Moreover, this is not the only subject in which CIG is telling us what we want to hear, when honestly the answer is certainly different. I'm looking at you, master of space battles with hundreds of starships. And in reality, CIG and other technology companies like to tell us what we want to hear, because not only is there no fun in disappointing people, but it also forms its own confirmation bias about CIG itself. We're building the best damn space simulation ever. Of course we're going to be able to solve everything you were ever frustrated about our competitors and predecessors. Don't give us any negative thinking about not being able to exceed the speed of light. We can solve any challenge if we just work hard and have enough backer dollars. I remember that kind of feeling too. That why are you telling the customer that they can't do that? The Prime 9955 Mark II is the best 32-bit departmental super mini computer available for less than $500,000. It can have a whole 32 megabytes of memory and as many as 5 770 megabyte hard drives for that price. And with that thought, let's wrap up with an update on the Grow the Channel Ship giveaway. As of recording, we're at 43% of the subscriber goal and 23% of the membership goal to give to one lucky subscriber their choice of either the Anvil Liberator, the ship-shipping ship for shipping your ships, or the massive long-duration exploration carrier, the Misk Odyssey. One entry per video, members are entered automatically, and if the winner is a member, as of the publication of the winning video, they will win both the Liberator and the Odyssey. That's quite a haul. For non-members, just be a subscriber and comment with the secret word. And the secret word for this video is what OG stands for. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Danny Raymond for Ray's Guide.